We're live now.
Are you sure?
I don't know, man. I did that like fake cackle the other day, and my kid from the other room went ha 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 ha. It's just like, oh shit, I'm raising like a Halloween witch over here.
Yeah, can we not teach young children to cackle like demons, please?
God, it'll actually. Now that I think about it, I'll start training her for Halloween this year.
No, let's just not do that.
Be really great.
I can't remember what I listened to, but I was listening to something, and they were talking about Halloween specifically, and they were saying that kids don't realize how scary they actually are because kids are terrifying. And when you're a kid, all you think is happiness, go, joy, fun, energy kind of thing.
Right.
If you realize the chilling effect you had on 90% of adults,
right,
it's a whole different ball game, and you get so much more fun by knowing that you're scaring other people.
You know what I really can't take from kids is that whispering. It just like it creeps me out every time.
A kid standing still, just staring at you, is the scariest thing.
It's always the worst. Yeah. My kid wakes up in the middle of the night sometimes, and she's just like sitting there muttering to herself and just sort of like looking at us, and it's like, nope, just lay back down, go to bed. I don't like any of this.
Yep. No. Keep kids standing still way the fuck away from me, please.
Yeah. We already talked about movies with patrons. I'm trying to think what I did this week that is interesting at all. I feel like this wasn't a super interesting week.
I watched more Elementary.
Yeah.
I'm almost finished with season 2 now, so that's good.
Still good?
Yes, and I totally forgot Risa Fans is in it, who I love. Risa Fans is one of the best unknown actors. If you've seen 51st State, he's the DJ in that. Like the really tall, lanky Welsh guy. It's RHYS space IFANS.
Yeah, he's in his famous role over here is in Notting Hill. He's the gross roommate.
The roommate. Yep. He is secretly an amazing actor because he's also in Elementary as Sherlock Holmes' brother.
Oh, interesting.
Which is funny because him and Johnny Lee Miller, who plays Sherlock, have the same facial structure. It's just Risa Fans is so much taller. It's unbelievable. What
else has he been in?
He's
Amazing Spider-Man.
Wait, who is he in that?
The Lizard / Dr. Kurt Connors.
Oh, yes, he was. I totally forgot about that.
I haven't seen that one. He was in the 5-Year Engagement. Boy, he was really good in that movie. Because he's like this, like, smarmy, shitty college professor who, like, as soon as you meet him, you're like, I don't trust this dude at all.
Oh,
but there's, like, nothing wrong with him. You just don't trust him.
He just gives off the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, really weird as well seeing, like, speaking of, let's just keep talking about movies for a little bit. I did see the trailer for Rocket Man.
Okay, I haven't watched that yet.
It's Elton John's biopic, which I find it funny that that's coming out right after Bohemian Rhapsody.
Right.
And it's the kid from Kingsman is Elton John. I can't remember his name.
Taron Egerton?
Yes, Eggsy. And he's shockingly an amazing actor.
Yeah, he where do I know him from?
Kingsman, the movie that
I've not yet seen Kingsman.
Oh,
I know that's one of those movies where it's like, dude, for real. He's the gorilla in Sing, the kids movie. That's where I know him from. He's in a kids movie. Yeah, okay. I think I have seen GIFs from that trailer and sort of like, oh, you really look like Elton John. That is really
it's kind
weird.
of scary.
Yeah. I did watch the trailer for the Avengers Endgame, of course, because, I mean, how could you miss it?
You did or you didn't?
I did.
Okay, because my wife hasn't seen that. Wife, if you're listening to this on Patreon content, please stop listening. We're about to discuss.
Has she seen...
she's seen them all.
So she's totally caught up. I will warn anyone, if you've managed to not get spoiled about the ending of the previous Avengers movie, It all gets spoiled in like the first minute of the trailer. Honestly, it's not a great trailer because you're gonna go see it anyway. It's a lot of clips from like all the other Marvel Universe movies, and then like a minute of it is slow motion, like walking in different outfits. So it's you're gonna go see it, like.
But it ends with one of my favorite lines of any trailer so far, which is "I like this one." Which is when Thor does the hammer pull.
Oh, yeah, and she doesn't
flinch, and she just gives a little smile. And he's like, "I like this one."
Yeah.
Or I like her. I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking about this with my wife because she follows a bunch of people on Twitter, and the lesbian Twitter place has just exploded with Thor being the best friend to lesbians everywhere.
Oh, nice.
Because of the whole Valkyrie thing, and how everybody basically assumes that Valkyrie is kind of the lesbian community has embraced Valkyrie as one of their own.
Gotcha.
And Thor is that best friend kind of thing.
Right.
And it's just pictures of like Captain Marvel meeting Valkyrie for the first time, and Thor just being like, "They look so cute together." It's so cute and hilarious.
Oh man.
But it was hilarious because like people were immediately like, "People are now shipping Captain Marvel and Thor," and lesbian Twitter just went, "No, you don't understand.
Right.
He's a friend to lesbians."
Right.
That's it.
Back off for a minute. So, production thing here, real quick. Your camera has been fine on YouTube. Sorry, Skype. I realized I'm not doing our background recording. Interesting.
And it's not hitching.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what's doing it.
Yeah, possibly.
I'm not willing to start now because, like, I don't want to.
Don't want to balk anything.
Yeah, I don't want to screw anything up here. Oh man. Okay, we've got a big episode to do today. So, are you ready to start? All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Moonpeer.
Bonjour, mon ami.
A little bit of programming news here. We just finished recording yesterday the Game Club episode for Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which I said at the beginning of that episode. I sincerely hope this holds true. 2019's saddest game. I know it came out in like 2013, but hopefully the saddest game we will play this year. Real super bummer.
Last Day of June is still up there for me. I
don't know
which
both of those
worse.
games, like that's a 1-2 punch of just, hey, life sucks and everyone dies. Surprise!
Yeah.
So our next game, as voted by patrons, is going to be Super Hot, which I'm fairly sure is not a depressing, introversion on life. But hey, who knows? We got 30 levels to find out, I guess.
Yep. And 2 hours apparently.
Yeah, not super long, which is also really appreciated because I am super addicted to one game that we will talk about this week, which is a great way of saying, Moonpeer, let's get started here.
Well, it's the game that we're all been playing. It's the game that we've all been talking about. It's Anthem, folks.
Yes.
So I played a bunch of Anthem.
I was going to ask you about that this week.
So I got to the first brick wall.
Yeah, the open the tombs.
Yes, I hit that, and then I realized that I played it after a bunch of patches, so they might have changed it. But I already had like 2 of them completely done, and one of them 3/4 done, and one of them not anywhere close to being done.
Yeah, they changed that for the first real big patch that came out. That originally, I guess, because this happened during the early access period, I guess when you got that that quest, then it started counting them. What they patched in was it counts it from when you start the game, which is way better.
Yes, the way it should have been.
Yes.
So I'm still in the middle of doing that because I only played it a little bit. Everybody seems to have moved on to different schlooters this week, which we will talk about.
Right.
But to be honest, it's going to be one of those games that I will chip away at slowly. I will play it at my pace. Because, to be honest, I'm kind of fed up with burning myself out on a game by just stonewalling it the very first week it comes out,
Right,
and
like
then
30 hours the first 2 days.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, we were talking about this with Mac while playing a different game. That cost me with Destiny 1. It cost me with Destiny 2.
Yep.
Both of those games, we went in, we stonewalled them over the course of a weekend, and then we were done with them, and we were not interested in any further development after that.
Right.
Because we were like, okay, well, we've done everything, and we didn't feel like having that distance from 2 days into the release to first big DLC coming out made me not interested in the slightest in the DLC, because it was like, it's been 6 months and I haven't touched the game, so why would I go back and put more money in?
And the loot treadmill never grabbed you for any of these games, so it's not like, well, here's the end game content that I'll keep repeating to get better loot to be ready for whatever. Like, that never grabbed you, which
exactly
is definitely understandable.
I mean, the only time that's ever really grabbed me is when it didn't matter, and that was Borderlands. It's like, oh, okay, I got a better gun, I'll do that.
Yeah.
It never felt necessary on that side of things for me to actually go into it. But I played a little bit of Anthem, and the game's still gorgeous. Like, I played with a couple of randos and did a couple of missions, and it went relatively smoothly. But it's Anthem. At this point, most people have probably stopped playing it, and I will continue to play it.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them. BioWare seems very committed to it, and I have not uninstalled it, and I will definitely be checking it out when they not fix, but I think when they figure out what direction they really want to go. I know a lot of people are clamoring for, like, where's new content, and that feels really soon. But I don't think it's. I'm hoping BioWare will get there.
I think BioWare will. It's if EA gives them the chance to get there is the biggest scare of that factor.
Well, and I think whether or not people want to come back. Not every game is going to have a redemptive arc like No Man's Sky.
Yeah, although I think No Man's Sky never really got that huge explosion that it got before it came out. I don't think it ever got back to that level again.
I think when they put Next out, I think that was when people came back and they're like, oh, there's a lot to do in this game. Like, this is a proper thing now. Like, this is a real experience. And they put out a couple of big patches right after that put, like, underwater base building and stuff like that. And I think that's retained a lot of people. And then they just announced this new thing where it's like, we're putting in crazy new multiplayer. Like, we're really fleshing that out. It's like, oh, wow, okay. Like, you just keep working on it. That's really good.
No, good for them. I mean,
that's where I'd like to see BioWare go.
Yeah, if they can flesh it out more, but put a bunch more stuff in it over time, then that's fine. I've got no problem doing that. I ain't gonna buy loot crates or anything for it.
No.
I have never been a cosmetic person. I am not like you. I don't need every single banner. I don't need every single dangly thing.
And I think when you look at stuff like another game we'll talk about, and Anthem, I think when you look at their cosmetics, Anthem especially, a lot of that stuff just isn't great. Like, when I look at Destiny 2, I can get an exotic armor piece skin that looks way different in a cool way, or I can get a funny dance that is very different from what I normally have. And I think for something like Anthem, you can get like a different texture for your armor that doesn't make a big enough difference, at least for the first couple of sets of ones they had, where it's like, oh, that sort of looks different, but that's not really majorly. It's not like you bought the color pink and it's like, oh, now I can, which is good because you can just do that out of hand. But the stuff that they're selling is sort of like, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. I care more about the emotes because my guy is a space wizard, essentially. He doesn't come from the moon. He might be named Moon, but he doesn't come from the moon.
Right.
And he does a fancy bow when he finishes a mission because I thought it suits with the cloak. So I'm more interested in that kind of stuff. My favorite emote of all time will still forever be the Division 1 had a looking for group emote.
Oh, yeah.
My wife got it from one of the crates, one of the late game loot crates. and literally your character pulls out a piece of cardboard and it's got an image of two people like with a line between us, like need help question mark, and it just holds it up and does this. It's like this.
It's like waving
airport,
it around.
waiting at the airport for someone to come out with the gate.
That's really good.
It was so good, and it's like, okay, that's the best emote I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. It's a bummer that I don't think Division 1 had interactive emotes between multiple people, right?
I did not know.
Okay, yeah, because Destiny 2 just introduced that recently, where like someone can hold up their hand for a high five, and you can come in and like you as another person will high five that person, do chest bump and stuff like that. It'd be really cool if in the Division 1 you could hold up that sign, someone would just walk up to you and party up with you.
That's pretty cool.
That's the future of loot shooters.
Yeah, that always takes me back to Rec Room, the Giant Bombs coverage of Rec Room specifically, where they're just messing around, throwing stuff, doing stupid role play, and then they're like waving to each other, and then one guy's like, okay, let me fist bump you, and puts up a fist, and Jeff Gersman gives him a fist bump, and that's how you join a party with somebody, is by fist bumping them.
That's so good.
And the whole room exploded, and they just completely lost their mind. It was like, VR is worth it. It was worth it. The entire thing was worth it just for this one moment of naturally fist bumping somebody, and it's like party joined. And it's
That's so good.
What?
Oh man.
Yeah, I know Sea of Thieves does something like that as well, where it's like if you do a certain emote to somebody, it's like I need friends is what the emote's called, and they do it back to you. It pops up their gamer tag on the add friend screen.
Oh, cool. That's smart.
Which is a really nice little touch, but that Rec Room fist bump will forever be emblazoned in my memory as one of the best moments in video game history.
Sea of Thieves is another game that it's nice to see a developer continue to stick with it and get the support of their publisher, because Sea of Thieves is turning out to be a really great experience that started off very thin. I don't think anyone will disagree with that, but it's really getting into a cool thing now.
Well, it started 2019 as the most streamed game, like the most watched game on Twitch. It's like, how? How does that happen in 2019?
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, good on them. Like, good on them for supporting that kind of stuff. But yes, my second game this week, Doom 2016. Boston.
I know.
Load the game.
I know.
Stick it on the easiest difficulty. It will take you at most 4 or 5 hours. Okay.
Now you're talking my language.
Because I beat the game already. I beat it the year it came out. This topic has come up a lot recently. I did not put that high enough on its top 10 the year that game came out.
Right.
I was wrong. I think at the time I was only a little bit through it, and I never went back and gave it the props it deserved the year after. Doom 2016 is one of the best games I've played.
Now I'm looking up my top 10 for 2016.
I think I stick it at number 9. Like, I'm not happy with that positioning.
Yeah, we just looked up when we were recording Game Club. We were talking about what our top 10 of 2013 was.
Oh man, I was so wrong in 2016.
What was your top one?
Top one was Quantum Break, which I wouldn't change. Quantum Break, as far as I'm concerned, stays there. Here are games I put up. Let's just talk about 2016 being an amazing year of games.
Yeah, boy.
Quantum Break, Gears of War 4, top down this is.
Yep.
Battlefield 1 should be lower.
Yeah.
The Division.
Okay.
That's genuinely a great game, but it didn't deserve to be that high.
Pretty high for launch Division 1.
Yes, it should have been lower. FIFA 17, I'm fine holding that where it is because I played that a lot with my wife, and it's one of those games where when you play it with your wife, it's great. Hitman at number 6, which should have been probably higher, but I barely touched her at that point.
Yeah.
Titanfall 2 is number 8.
2020 gives hindsight gives that one a lot of love. Titanfall 2 is so good.
And Doom is number 9.
Wow, yeah.
That's 2 2016 shooters, which as far as I'm concerned, I did a disservice to. Because Titanfall 2 is one of the best single player campaigns released in at least 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And Doom is right there with it. Because, as I mentioned, I've already beat the game. I did the first level on the hardest difficulty to get the difficulty-related achievement, which I did by jumping through the scenery and just skipping to the end. So,
nice.
Fun. And so I'm going through it now, replaying it for collectibles. Like, it's got data logs, it's got all this kind of stuff. So I'm just going through the levels. I'm getting the collectibles as I go. I stuck it down on the easiest difficulty. People don't hate you on the easiest difficulty, dude. Like, honestly, it's so easy. It's unbelievable. And I'm sitting there playing it and thinking, this music is amazing. The gameplay is fantastic. So it looks amazing. The lore that they somehow inserted into Doom after how many years is incredible.
Yep.
And all I'm thinking while I'm playing it is, Boston needs to put this on the easiest difficulty and fly through the game. Because this is a game that will speak to you more than it speaks to me, because I don't have love for Doom. The original Doom I've got no passion for, because
and growing up with Doom and Doom 2 as a primarily PC gamer is just those were so good. And there's actually another plug here for a site we are not affiliated with at all, just to remind everyone. psprices.com. If you have PlayStation Gold right now, it is $12.
I think you mean PlayStation Plus.
That one. Yep. Xbox Plus and PlayStation Gold.
Yep, the way it should be.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Even though I've put it on the top 10 list in the past, Boston, can I nominate this for a best old game this year, even though it's already been on my top 10 list?
Sure, yeah. Let's talk more about Doom. Why not?
Because
it's stupid good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
My biggest concern would be motion sickness and nausea with you right now.
Because it is fast.
It runs really, really quick.
Yeah.
But please go give it a try. If you can make it through Kingdom Hearts,
that's fair. You
can play Doom.
Yeah. I can keep it down for 4 hours for Doom.
I never thought I would say that sentence out loud.
I need to find it again. I bet it's in this box that behind me that we went through on stream the other day.
It probably is. But I mean, honestly, it's like 4 to 6 hours. You can fly through it on the easiest difficulty. You don't have to do any of the other additional BS aside.
Right.
You're not a hunter like me, so you're not going to go for the collectibles. You're not going to care about any of that kind of stuff. So
I do like you're a Marine fist bumping the tiny Doom Marine, though.
That's
really
probably one of my favorite moments in video games.
Yep.
It's like,
yep.
It's so good. And it's hard to put into words how great it was just going back and playing through these games. Like, I've got a video for collectible walkthroughs, and it's just like, I kind of just want to get the collectibles and then just do a very quick run through the game.
Yeah.
Because it just has that presence where it's like, this is how good the game can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
And the weird steps you have to take from Master of Puppets and that era of heavy metal that have then been turned into MIDI mixes for the original Doom, because E1M1 is essentially Master of Puppets, I think.
Yep. It's one of those, yeah.
Changed slightly so they can't get sued for it.
Right.
And then hearing that then reimagined into a 2016 hardcore heavy metal remix of that. It's like a remix of a remix, and it's somehow still so good. Please, Boston, go and play this game.
I will. I will find it, and I will reinstall it on my PS4 because it's huge now. It's hundreds of gigs.
There is a reason why I'm doing the collectibles to get the achievements to get this thing off my hard drive.
Sort by size.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally, that's how my Xbox is organized right now.
I actually don't know if I have enough space on my PS4 right now. I'll have to go look. I have some stuff I can probably delete. Yeah.
But yeah, Doom. If you haven't, at this point, if you haven't played Doom 2016, and this goes to you listeners and to you, Boston.
Hey.
Go and play it. It's cheap at this point. You know the sequels are right around the corner at some point within the next couple of years.
Yeah, Doom 2 is coming out. They'll probably show it pretty heavily at E3 this year.
Yep, and Bethesda are the type of people who do, here is the biggest trailer, by the way, it comes out in 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, we're showing it. It comes out in September.
It wouldn't surprise me if that thing is out later this year. So please give it a go.
During the break, we'll look in this box behind me and we'll see if we can find it.
Okay, I hope so, because it's one of those things where you need to play it. Like,
yes,
out of
I do.
Two of us, like, I've got no love.
There are a lot of video game related shames of games I've missed, like Super Metroid. I've never played. I should start knocking some of those games out.
Honestly, it's been rattling around in my brain is I need to do a greatest hits of video games that I've missed.
Right.
And at some point I might end up speaking to the community about it, because I've never played any Final Fantasy before 7.
Okay.
And I know, especially over here in America, Final Fantasy 2/4, whichever one it is.
4, yeah.
Is widely regarded as one of the best Final Fantasies. I've never played it.
Yeah, 4 is good. 6 is really good.
I've never played Final Fantasy Tactics, the first one.
Oh god, it's so good. Oh, god, it's so good.
I've never played before the new one any of the Toe Jam and Earl games. Like,
right. Well, thankfully there's only one other one you need to play.
I have a legacy of movies and video games that, due to whatever reason, be it being in England or whatever, I did not play. But I can guarantee you never played Super Monaco GP for the Amstrad.
No, yeah.
And that was kind of a huge game over in England. Like, you probably never played Football Manager. I grew up playing
unfortunately
those
not. I want to play Football Manager so bad. Well, it sounds like we're coming up with a brand new series right here and right now. Everyone submit your ideas for names.
It's been rattling around in my head for the past, like, I think ever since it was when it was 8th anniversary on Twitter. And everybody was talking about the Final Fantasies that they loved.
Yeah.
And we went down a rabbit hole of, like, RPGs I've never played. It's like, it's not just RPGs. Like, I've never played the original Doom from start to finish. I've played the first 2 levels because everybody
everyone had the shareware.
I've played the first level of Deus Ex and never played any of the rest of that game. You know, it's...
I already have a show title for it. We should just call it TVGP Top 100. Like the IMDb Top 100.
Yes. But no, it's I've been thinking about it a lot, and it's something that I feel like I could do. And in addition to that, I could legally do with the amount of re-releases and things like that that are coming out these days.
Yeah.
So there is a potential for it. It's just time and investment wise, like, I'd have to think about that kind of stuff. But like I said, it's something that's been on my mind a lot. Of, like you said, the IMDb top 250 of video games essentially is what I'm thinking. Yeah,
like some of these required reading books, required reading games, where it's like, you know, you should have played X, Y, and Z. You should have played some of these games.
Like Super Metroid is a good example. Everybody...
Yeah, I love Metroidvanias. Why haven't I played Super Metroid?
I've never played it either.
Yeah.
I've never played the first Metroid. I've never played Zelda 2. I don't think I ever played Zelda 1. Like, my first Zelda was Link's Awakening, which is...
Oh, it's so good.
Thank you, Nintendo, for the re-release coming out.
Thank
because
you,
it's my first Zelda, and I love that thing.
That's a great game.
But yes, Boston needs to play Doom 2016.
Yes.
Everybody does, but Boston specifically does. My final game this week, because it's that kind of week where everybody plays the same game for a while, and I know you've been playing this because somebody got it 4 days early because they're a big show-off. Yeah, I got the gold edition.
I bought the gold edition, and it unlocked at midnight your time, which is 9 p.m. my time. And we have a very funny story to talk about that.
Okay. Well, yes, for those who don't know, it's The Division 2.
Tom Clancy's registered trademark, The Division 2 TM.
Yes, which that's fun when you're searching alphabetically in your games, let me tell you.
First off, before we get...
look for Siege, and it's like, no, I need to look in T, not S. I need to look in, not R, not whatever. It's like, no, I just Siege.
Before we get into it real quick, we do have a clan on every platform. It's called TVGP Peeps. TVGP space Peeps with the clan tag of TVG. I was frustrated creating the clan because they will not let you use numbers, so I couldn't go with E1, M1 like the Destiny 2 one, which I really like. So that was a bummer. massive cough. But big props. I'm running the PS4 one. Moon is running the Xbox version because they're not cross-platform, which is probably fine because they only fit 50 people. And then Soulman is running the PC one.
Yep.
So you want to find it. It's the same name and same tag on each platform.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't know about your banners. Mine is purple and green, and it has a wolf.
No, but that's way cooler than the one I have. I'm gonna have to go do that. Man, take a picture of that. I'll recreate that. So Moon ran into the same thing where we had a lot of discussions before this came out with how do we create the clan? Because with Destiny 2, or the original Destiny, created on the website, even before the game came out, it's cross-platform. Like it's done and it's solved. We found out that you have to unlock them in the game, and Massive's thing they said early was, well, you'll unlock it really early in the game. I'm like, well, that's fine. I'll buy the gold edition. I'll create it so by the time it comes out on Friday, or if anyone grabs the gold or ultimate edition, I'll be able to create it really easily. We'll all start getting clan XP really quickly.
Yep.
I found a posting on Reddit that day it came out. Someone had basically, a bunch of people on PC had used a VPN to play it, quote unquote, in New Zealand. They had like the whole day to play it. Someone said, here's the steps of the missions you need to do in order to unlock this person. She'll let you create the clan. It'll only take you about 50 minutes. I was like, 50 minutes? It'll it unlocks for 9 p.m. my time, put the kid to bed, like started at 10. I was like, 50 minutes? I can knock this out real easy. I'll spend some time in the character creator. It'll be great. 2.5 hours later, I'm just unlocking this person, fast traveling my way back to the White House and creating the clan.
Yep.
So
pretty
50
much.
minutes later, my butt.
Yep, that's exactly what I said yesterday. Soon, like pre-show for Game Club, it was the third sentence out of my mouth was 50 minutes my buttocks, except not phrased politely.
And of course, this was without preamble, so it's not like, hey, the Division 2. It's just like, hey, 50 minutes. And it's just like, yeah, man.
Yep. But yes, we got them up and running.
Yeah.
I haven't played a lot. I played a little bit because I played that mostly. Yes, my wife and I started it at the same time, so I didn't start it until 10 p.m. on Friday.
Okay.
50 minutes, that's fine. I get done by midnight.
Yeah, no, I'll go to bed early.
So my wife ended up calling it early, and so I stayed up and soloed all the way through to getting the clan person done.
At like 11 o'clock my time, so it was like 1 o'clock.
It was late.
Yeah.
It was late my time, and it was like, great. So it's up, it's running, that's fine. Go to bed. Played a bit more yesterday with my wife. Basically went through the same missions I went through the night before to unlock the clan person.
Gotcha.
So we could get her into the clan as well. So minimal experience with the game as a whole so far. I haven't played it today yet. So, Boston.
Yes.
This is the Division 1.
Yeah, like this is part of what I want to talk about because I've played a lot of the Division 2. The asterisk there is I haven't made a lot of progress, and we'll talk about why. But I haven't played the Division 1 at all, and you did, and you liked a lot of it sort of at launch and then coming back to it much later. So I'm very curious to hear from you what the difference is, because reading a lot of stuff from the community is there are differences between the two, but a lot of them seem pretty positive.
There are positive changes, there are negative changes.
Okay.
So, as we all want to do, while playing with my wife, we tend to come up with loadouts that we both enjoy and will suit a specific role in a squad. For example, in Division 1, she was the healer, whereas I was the fortifier and things like that. So I put up, like, in Division 1, it was like you put a thing down and it reinforces defenses within a certain area of you. So cover is better and you gain stats while you're behind that cover.
Cool, okay.
And then she would play as the healer, so then if anybody was low on health, she'd be the one throwing out med kits and things like that.
Right.
We started this game. I don't like the abilities. Like, a lot of the abilities I do not like.
Those are like the 8 skills, like the high-level skills, like turret and drone and hive and
left
stuff
bumper,
like that.
right bumper stuff, yeah.
Gotcha.
So, number 1, the hive is creepy.
Hive is weird. That will be the last one I unlock. I know it's super useful, and I know someone will yell at us and say, like, the one that brings you back is great because you drop it when you die. Okay.
That's not a good thing. As far as I'm concerned.
Resurrecting?
Yes. That's a very bad thing.
There's a reason Bungie took it out between Destiny 1 and Destiny 2.
Oh, no, it's resurrecting is a good thing. We'll talk about the issues with that in a second,
Self-resurrecting is a problem I have in these games.
So, well, you could do it in the first one as long as you, well, in the first one, if you had the health pack, you start with the base health pack, and then you choose a mod for it, which gives it a secondary ability.
Okay.
So, it's the health pack that you throw on the ground, and it heals people within that range.
Okay.
And then the secondary ability could be a reviver ability. So, if someone was 3 covers in front of you, you throw this big health pack in front of you. As long as that person's in the zone, it revives them and then heals them when they get up.
Okay.
Because it's a secondary and a primary ability.
I have no problems with one unit reviving another one remote. That's not the problem I have.
If you were the healer yourself and you dropped it next to you before you went down, it would also revive you.
Okay. Not bad.
So, but that's using a skill to do the healing thing.
You're like timing it right so that you do it as you perish and then it brings you back up.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about this one is, well, number 1, the hive is creepy. I get this whole thing towards nano machines and mini bots and stuff like that. We're heading into Metal Gear territory way too quick.
It's always nano machines, man.
But the hive thing is weird because it comes out like 3 glow sticks flying around and then ploops into somebody, and that just creeps me out, that animation.
Yeah.
The reviver is a problem because my wife started out using the reviver loadout. Like, she didn't buy the basic hive, which was the heal. She bought the reviving loadout. So it's like, okay, now she can toss that if one of us needs to be revived. Great. Downside, she goes down. She's 2 feet away from me and easily revivable. And I can't pick her up because her reviver, which she hasn't thrown out and activated that ability, starts picking her up in a situation where I'm perfectly capable of picking her up.
Right, because one of the benefits of the reviving hive is when you go down, it picks you back up automatically.
Yep, but then it uses that skill and puts that countdown back on, which early in the game is 120 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is rough very early on, and it's sort of a bummer that you can't. I have 2 issues with it. One is it's a bummer you can't cancel it as. Like, your wife should be able to say, no, don't use this skill. Like, someone is literally right next to me. The other thing that is concerning for me is I feel like with there being raids in the game, that's going to be the only loadout everybody has to run. Like, you have to run a reviver, and that's a problem. Yeah.
It ended up being that way in Division 1, where at launch for Division 2, at launch for Division 1, if you had a squad, there was a squad loadout that you used, and everybody used that specific thing.
Right.
Like, you had one person who did the defenses thing that I used to do. One person who did, like, the turret was essentially useless in the first one. As soon as you're doing high end stuff, the turret is useless, and a whole bunch of other stuff was just no. You ignore those. These are the 5 skills that you spread out across a squad of however many people, and you can do the raids. It got better towards the end, where everybody, like, it started powering them all up enough to the point where, okay, now everything is useful. But I do worry about this is the Diablo way, where if you want to do a Crusader, you have to do this kind of Crusader.
Yeah, here's the
and this
perfect
kind of Crusader.
build. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
The perfect build, the perfect roll, the perfect items, the perfect whatever. It's like, I don't care. I want to play how I want to play.
Thankfully, that's not something we're gonna have to worry about for a while, because both of us are moving through this game glacially, which for me is purposely, mostly because of what we were just talking about earlier with Anthem, where I am really enjoying playing the Division 2. think it controls well. I like the shooting. I like how different each gun category feels.
Yep.
I like the skills that I've picked. I'm running healing drone and just regular shooting turret. There's a bug with both of those right now where they will go away by themselves and start the cooldown, which is a bummer, and I know it's going to get fixed soon, so it's not a big ding on the game. But I've played this a lot, and I'm like level 12, and
I'm level 8 right now. Literally,
yeah,
like we unlocked the clans, and then I ran Maximus Prime community member through the same missions to unlock the clan for him. Right. And I got him into the clan, and then then I stopped playing. I didn't play at all so far today. Right. But how do you think it looks, first and foremost?
I think it looks really good. I don't have HDR on right now because number one, the game is really dark. It's really dark.
Just so you know, turning HDR on will fix that.
Okay, I turned it on. When I turned HDR on, it was too bright, like it was a little washed out, and I just need to sit there like in a certain room of the White House that I know where the colors look right, and then I need to just start fiddling around with brightness and HDR and all that stuff to get it right, and then I know it'll fix itself.
I was having issues with my HDR, so I updated my TV. I ran it through a full cycle. I switched off the TV's auto detect, so I set it to HDMI 2.0. Nothing else.
Right.
Then kicked back up my Xbox, restarted my Xbox, and then loaded the Division again. And just like that, I fixed it. HDR was working, which it wasn't for me for a while. When it wasn't working, and if I was in a dark place, it was impossible to see anything.
Yeah.
I ran through the whole thing, got HDR turned on. It's so clear now. It's it's still dark, but it's not.
It's not impossible.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not a black screen looking for movements to try and figure out, where the enemies are.
Have you been outside during a thunderstorm at night?
I have not yet.
Oh man, that's so good. Because it is legitimately very dark when there's rain and thunder at night, but it feels right, like it should be during a thunderstorm like that. And it's really nice to see one of these open world loot shooters with real solid weather in it. Is probably another reason why they moved it. It takes place 7 months after the Division 1. So it's really the middle of summer, and it's nice to see in the Division 1 your options are like snow or no snow, really. But
no, it's 100% snow. It's all.
Well, I mean, like snowfall versus no snowfall.
Oh yeah.
Like for your weather effects, and in this one, you have rain, you have wind, you have the daily cycles moving. I sort of miss that Christmas gone wrong aesthetic from the Division 1 because I thought that was cool.
Yeah, and the snow makes everything so quiet as well, where it's like this calm and peaceful with the undertone of terror underneath it.
Right.
Yeah, it's something my wife and I both agree on, was we miss the snow. But I mean, the game looks beautiful anyway. Like the game looks amazing.
Yeah.
The first thing that I was thinking when I was playing it and we were thinking about the weather was, I bet you it smells real bad absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, the DC just stinks.
Because there's garbage everywhere. It looks like New York in the 70s. Like there's a garbage man strike and it's just piling up in the streets.
Dead people everywhere.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, so yeah, it might be bright and sunny, but I bet you it smells real bad 100% of the time.
I've largely been playing this as a solo game. I've run a couple of missions. I was running a couple missions match made leading up to unlocking the clan stuff, and I thought that worked really well. Actually, I liked being able to find 3 other people, and then sort of you can fast travel to the mission you match made for. But we didn't really do that because you find so much stuff from point A to point B, which is why it's taking me forever to play this game. Is because I'm gonna go get this SDH loot cache, but I'm going to hit about 30 different things on the way there because, ooh, here's an alley. Ooh, here's a sewer underground. Oh, there's someone getting sacrificed. I gotta stop that. And then like
Yeah. And
2 hours later, I go do this mission.
There's a cell phone over there. There's an
Yep.
echo over there.
Yep.
It's everywhere.
There's some loot hiding in the trees I gotta shoot down.
Yeah, that's essentially that's Division 1 is hit your waypoint to the mission and then get distracted by the millions of things between you and it. And honestly, like the matchmaking system looks like it's just straight out of Division 1, which is fine because it works great in Division 1.
Yep.
Like the menu, the HUD, the abilities, like all of that is just straight Division 1. Let's just tweak it a little bit.
There was nothing really wrong with it, so you don't have to reinvent it.
Yeah, they tweaked it and they changed the locations of stuff. It's weird because they realigned the tiles in the inventory. Like the way your inventory is, and it's like got the dark zone stuff on the right, the caches on underneath that. Flip that like 90 degrees to where they were on the bottom, and that's Division 1.
Okay.
So every time I load up the inventory to open a cache, I'm scrolling down to the bottom. Nope, back up
nope, that's
to the
my
right.
skills. All right.
I mean, like you said, it controls pretty much the same. It's still got the claw dozy door closing.
Yeah,
animation.
the little tap close the door as you're going past.
Yeah,
I really like how it plays. I think that's the thing that pushed me into buying this from the open beta is I really like moving into cover feels great. Holding X to move from cover to cover, and there's very clearly like a filling circle on the cover you're going to. When it's full, you can let go. Vaulting over cover feels great. Shooting guns, blind firing, throwing grenades, like all of that, just the very lowest level foundation of playing the game feels really, 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 really good.
Yeah, it's got a really good hand feel. Like playing it feels great.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's very much like the first Destiny and Destiny 2 for me. It's like mechanically these games are amazing, but they didn't grab me at that end game. Whereas Division 2 was the same, except it grabbed me after I went back to it.
Oh, Division 1.
Where it was like, whereas like Division 1 is like it's got the same feel. Like the right guns have the right kind of punch. You know, they have the right kind of feel. I know my wife right now is running I love the fact that they changed the shield so there is different shield options. Yeah. The shield in the first one was have a shield and a pistol, and if you're lucky, get a sawn-off shotgun at high enough level to use. Now it's like, here's a different shield with no top on it, and you can use like a rifle or a big double-barrel shotgun instead.
Oh, cool.
So it's got a good variety on that, and the best thing is the design. Like the amount of effort they've put into making everything look real world is so helpful. Like the shield that she runs with looks like someone's got a flak jacket and then just opened, like cut one side of it and then opened it out so it's sitting like that.
Right, like opened a book.
Yeah, it's so dumb, but it's so realistic and amazing the way they've done it at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I loved
gear sets in the first one.
They did. Okay. That was actually post game. They added the actual sets.
Cool.
So it was after the Underground. I think they added it, where you get a type of gear from a specific manufacturer, and then if you wear all of that type of gear, you get set bonuses for it.
Yeah, I have one set bonus. I'm working on like 2 different set bonuses right now, but the one I have equipped, 3 of 3, gets me plus 30% skill length. So like when I toss out my turret, it lasts 30% longer, which as someone who's playing solo is really good. Because part of the reason why I'm playing solo is when you're playing alone, this game is hard. Like in a really rewarding way. Like if you're not using your skills and you're not looking around and you're not moving cover to cover to kind of... The enemy AI is really good so far. Like, if you stay in one spot for too long, they're going to flank you and they're going to kill you. Like, you need to move and you need to start taking down the guys that are coming at you because they're not going to stop and shoot you from a corner. They're going to come right at you.
Yeah, I love the fact that they've continued the class type on enemies. Like, their symbol is the class type. And it's one of those things where I learned in the Division 1 real early. If you see someone with a lightning bolt next to their name, next to their health bar, you shoot them first, and you shoot them fast because they will be on you and they will put you down because their melee attacks are wicked powerful.
Yeah.
There are, going back to the abilities a touch, like there are some abilities that I do like
What are the two skills you're rocking?
I unlocked 3 so far, so I have the gas canister that restores armor.
Okay, smart.
Which is essentially the same as the medkit gun from the first
foam
game.
Launcher?
It's the it's called like a gas launcher, but it's got different options. Like the basic one is it gives a tiny circle of nanobots that rejuvenate armor. It has variations which are, here is a firebomb gas cloud that you can just shoot.
That's the one I unlocked. I haven't played with it yet, but that looks super cool.
It also has the foam launcher option, and it has the basically acid gas like option as well.
Nice.
So it's got a lot of variations in there. I miss the fact that I can't have 2, like the base ability and the secondary ability from the first one.
Oh yeah, because you only pick you pick
one.
like a turret, and then you pick the type of turret you have.
Yeah.
Right.
The other thing I'm running with right now is the attacking drone, which is the normal drone, except it goes and shoots people, which I love because it's something you might be interested in changing from your turret, because it's a little bit awkward because you have to control it at every stage of it. Like you pop it out and it hovers over you and it'll shoot people who get close to you, but you can hit LB and have it fly into the field and shoot somebody who's hiding behind cover. Yeah,
you like target it at someone. Yeah.
And then they will pop from out of cover trying to attack the drone, which gives you the shot to take them down. So it's really handy for like aggressively pushing people who are hiding behind cover and doing their own thing. It's like, no, you're gonna run across the field because you've got this drone chasing you, just going pip, 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 pip. And it's like into your line of fire, and it works out pretty nicely.
The combo I'm doing with mine, because I have the healing drone and just the normal turret, is what they don't tell you is the healing drone can heal your turret if you point it at. You can point it at the healing drone at other people. You can also point it at your turret, so you can just sort of use your turret as a tank or as a diversion, like pop it down on top of something, put your healing drone on it, and then scoot around the enemy to kind of flank them a little bit.
Come on, Boston.
Yeah.
Hold the left bumper and throw it on the other side of the map. Don't pop it down and move.
I throw it every once in a while if I want to. If there's like 4 or 5 people down in a room that I'm on top of, I'm definitely throwing a turret in the middle of them, and just like they're scattering and it's firing at 5 people. It's really great.
So far I'm enjoying this game a lot, and
yeah, me too.
The scaling seems to work pretty well. I'm probably going to do what I do with all of these type of games, which is I am going to clear it out area by area.
Yep.
I would rather
Assassin's
go into
Creed
the next. Yeah, I would rather go into the next area overpowered than underpowered.
Yeah,
because I can't help it. It's essentially a checklist in video format. So it's like I'm going to clear all these side missions, get all these collectibles, whatever it can do,
unlock all your mods.
Some things I don't like. There are a lot of things I don't like actually, but they're all niggly things. But on the mini map in Division 1, if there was a lootable container near you, it showed on the mini map. Like it'd have like a little symbol on the mini map.
That's ability, a skill, unfortunately.
It's a skill, and it's a timed skill based on donating resources to a control point.
Right.
I don't like that. That's useless. It's not going to do me any good.
Thankfully, you can game it by just going to the person and not donating anything, and it'll still start it. But like, that's still not. That's what you want.
Still terrible.
Yeah.
No, that's bad to me. The crafting system is interesting again this time. I've got, well, let's just say because I'm at the start of the game, I'm collecting so much of everything. Because guess what? It's a box. I'm going to stop and I'm going to loot it because it's got stuff in it.
And you can break down gear and get materials. So like carrying around, you'll pick up like a shotgun that is just garbage. It's like, well, I don't even need to sell this. I'm just going to break it down immediately.
I picked up kids' socks.
I picked up a single wrench the other day, and I was like, cool, maybe a settlement will need that at some point. I don't know.
Why do I have kid socks? I don't know, but apparently now I have kid socks.
Maybe you'll run into a kid that's like, hey man, you got any socks? My feet are cold.
Well, probably.
Let me give you an assault rifle.
Like, maybe it's the theater settlement stores that need socks at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like the crafting changes.
Okay.
Because specifically with regards to the mods, because in Division 1, mods were a loot that you got.
I heard this, yeah.
They just dropped. So it was like, okay, you've got a sight. It's this kind of sight. This is my sight. I will clean it. I will maintain it. I will use it on this gun.
But you're always like hunting for that perfect drop, right?
Exactly. So you're hunting for whatever you think would benefit you to get the better roll on these random drops that you're getting these mods for. Now, it's really weird. Mods are one-time crafting resources or crafting recipes that once you've crafted, you can equip on every gun in your arsenal.
Yeah, you just like have an infinite number of stocks.
Yeah. So it's like, now I have iron sights, and I'm going to stick it on every gun that I can have because it's a mod and it helps.
Yeah.
Right now it seems that there are very big negatives to some of the mods. Like one of my sites is like minus 10% damage to elites, and it's like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, that's one I actually favor because it does. I think it does more. Was it like plus 20 reload speed and then minus 10 I actually kind of like the mod system because
I like the system. It just weirds me out because of the way it's completely reversed, essentially, from the first one.
Yeah, I do like that there are pluses and minuses. So you can't just like, you sort of have to min-max your gun if you're going to use mods. Like, I want to focus on like high accuracy and reload speed, but I'm going to do less damage to elites, and I'm going to lose a couple of bullets from my magazine. But I'm going to get, you know, the things that I'm really looking for.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm rocking an assault rifle and an LMG because I love LMGs in this game. They just have that really good, heavy feel of, I'm firing an M60.
I should rock an LMG. I'm rocking an assault rifle. I have a craftable police M4 replica that I really like.
Is that triple shot or single shot?
It is full auto.
Okay.
And then I'm rocking a single shot rifle. So I've got like that short to mid range, and then the rifle has that mid to not quite long range that like a marksman rifle would have, but I have long enough range that I can sort of get both of those distances, and so far that's been working out pretty well for me.
Yeah, so like I'm the same way. Like I do try and do the min-maxing with the guns. So like with my assault rifle, I'm all about critical hits. I'm all about if I can hit a crit, I want you to do as much damage as possible because you're going to be at the distance where I feel confident enough to hit somebody in the head or the stupid little pouch that they've got next to them that's like full of explosives for reasons.
I do have to say, I like that you can get status effects on you, like that confusion one, whatever they call it, messes up your controls.
It's so bad in this game. It's so bad.
I like because a lot of these games will do like, oh, confusion, like your screen is black and white or it's really dark. It's like I'm already behind cover, like that doesn't really matter. But by having my controls reversed, that's a real problem.
Have you seen the full effects of a flashbang yet?
Yes, it's so bad. Like complete silence and complete white screen, and it's just, all right, this is where I die.
I got caught on the edge of one, and it was really beautiful and terrifying because it had this big white ball, like where the flashbang went off.
Oh, wow.
And everything else was like in a black and white art style because it was taking all of the color out of the rest of the world. Cool. So it was this really cool effect of like, okay, that was interesting and weird.
Yeah, I'm glad I made it through that.
But yeah, the weapon mod thing, like my LMG, I know I'm not going to go headshots with them. I'd never try to. I'm always sent to mass with
That's when you pull
LMGs.
It out when a tank is coming at you.
Yeah, so with that thing, I don't care about losing critical stuff. I don't care about, losing critical chance.
Yeah.
You give me the biggest mag you can, and you give me the fastest reload speed you can, and I'm happy. Because they put down some serious damage. So, I mean, that's carried over from Division 1, and I do like the fact that now it's like, unlock it once and you're done. You don't have to do the ridiculous grind to get one more number increase.
This one boss in this mission has the best chance to drop this thing, so I'm just going to run this mission forever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like, I do like that stuff. But that game is great.
I really like it. Like, and I think
Division 1, but better.
I think for me, I've sat through like 4 out of the 5 bad loot game launches coming up to this. Like starting with Diablo 3. Diablo 3 launched in a bad spot.
It was bad.
Until Loot 2.0. Destiny 1, I was well-documented problems. I didn't sit through the Division 1, but that also had problems. Destiny 2 and Anthem. All of those games had all of these problems when they launched. And it's so great to play the Division 2 with a clear vision for endgame, a seemingly really long campaign where both missions and side missions are really pretty meaty.
Yep.
So much stuff to do in the game. And honestly, no server problems, even in the early access stuff. They've been patching it like crazy. They've been working themselves to death to fix some of these major issues. And
Thank you for that. You just reminded me of something. Go ahead.
And it's just, not only that, it seems solid, it's just fun to play. And it's one of those things where it's like, all right, I have an hour, I'm going to fire up Division. I probably don't have enough time to do like a mission or side mission. Clear out some SDH caches. Maybe I'll unlock another control point. I'll do, like, clean out one of these biohazard things. I've got plenty of stuff to do to kind of keep me entertained.
Keep you going.
But yeah, from mission 1, mission 2, mission 3. You know, it's not like that. And it's having a lot of fun.
So, did you do what I did and count the studios at the beginning of the game?
Yeah, like, I almost don't want to talk about the intro because thankfully there's really no story in the game, because the story that's presented in the game is bad. And
I did not like that intro, and at one point during the intro, like the cutscene to open the game, I did laugh out loud and say, "Ha, not political in the slightest."
Right, like that was the intro that
has
that opened up the open beta, and I'm like, ugh, like I love everything else about this, but man, this intro is real bad. But yes, I loved it. It was like published by Ubisoft. I was like, cool, developed by Massive Games. I was like, oh, that's right, Massive. And it's like also in partnership with Ubisoft Shanghai. And I was like, okay, cool. Ubisoft, like, Raleigh, North Carolina. Ubisoft down the street in a warehouse. It's like there's like 7 or 8 Ubisoft studios.
I counted. There's 7.
Jeez.
7 studios in that title. Because Massive came up and was like, cool, good job, Massive. And it was like in partnership with, I think you said what it was, Redmond or whatever it was. I was like, okay, that's 2.
Right.
Is there going to be another one? And there was, and I was like, I'm counting. From this point on, I'm counting. It's 3, I'm counting.
We've hit 3. Like, the whole Ubisoft village really pitched in for this one.
Yeah, it's
definitely not a bad thing. For anyone that might be listening to us, it's not a bad thing. It's just, it's funny.
No. Look at Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, Rockstar North is going to get the props for that, but every Rockstar studio worked on that game.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, so... But yeah, like, this game is good. Like,
I really like it.
I am so happy. Number one, Ubisoft. They supported the Division when everybody called it a dead game.
Yep.
They did the same thing with Rainbow Six Siege, and look at where that thing is now.
They're trying to do it with For Honor, but that never didn't. Not because of Ubisoft. It just doesn't seem like it's getting any traction.
It's struggling to get traction, yeah. But they're still supporting it. I mean, no matter how many people are there, they're still like in there on it. But yeah, I'm so pleased to see this thing hit the ground, and it's running smooth, and it's running well, and people seem to be giving this thing a chance that they immediately wrote off the Division. And the Division had a bad launch. They had to queue to talk to the NPC. Just as a reminder, folks.
I totally forgot about that until someone in the Division subreddit posted that picture of everyone lining up to talk to that dude with that laptop, and I was like, oh, that's right.
They literally had to queue up to talk to an NPC.
Yep.
Because you couldn't run past people, and you could stand in a doorway and block people from coming through a doorway because they would play a collision.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's nice to see them learn so much stuff from other loot shooters. Like they learn so much from Division 1. They learn so much from, you know, the stuff that Destiny 1 and 2 did really wrong. You know, they have done a lot of really great stuff.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, good on them. Like, I mean, it tells you how much they learned from Division 1, considering I can already see conflict in my menu, which is their PvP mode. I've already unlocked that. I've already heard whispers about the underground, and I've already heard people talking about the Dark Zone. So that's all of the DLC from Division 1, what seems to be already in this game from the get-go.
Yep. And they haven't launched raids yet. They haven't launched Tidal Basin, which should be coming out pretty soon, that will raise the world tier again, which is something I haven't even started to get into because I'm not even halfway to the level cap. Division 2 is really good.
Yep.
And I'm super happy to have a really great loot shooter that I'm playing, that everyone else is playing right now, and they are all enjoying it too.
So you don't have to go on the Division Defense Force?
No, it's like, so I don't have to sit there alone and like, Division 2 is really good! And everyone's like, shut up, nerd!
Yeah. But you are going to talk about Destiny 2 at some point, so...
Yeah, that's another game I played. So
you still get your quota of that.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Division 2 is great. If you're playing on Xbox, we have the clan up. You can access it through your friends list. Just add me, send me a message, whatever.
Yep. Yeah, and it's open on all platforms. So if you want to play, you don't have to request or anything. Just hop on in.
Yep.
I played around with Microsoft this past week. Launched the Microsoft Wireless Display app for Xbox One.
Yeah, tell me about this.
I would love to. So the whole selling point behind this is you can take your Windows 10 desktop and mirror it to your Xbox One. I said, okay, perfect. I'll download it in the morning. I have all day to fart around with it. I will figure out how to make this thing work because that seems super cool. I did not get it to work.
Okay.
It's partially my fault because I want the best for my Xbox One, and it's partially Microsoft's fault because they're too literal. So it will shock you, like it shocked me, that the Microsoft Wireless Display app only works if your Xbox One is wireless. If you're using a wired connection, your Windows 10 machine will see your console, but not be able to. So the biggest thing is on your Windows 10 machine, hit Windows P, basically the projector hotkey. It'll show all your monitors, and it should show your Xbox One, like show desktop on Xbox One. That doesn't show up because my Xbox One is not wireless. I'm hoping they patch that at some point. During this week, I'm still going to try to get it to work, because the one thing I really like about the wireless display app is your controller has two modes. One is it's a controller, and it's just a regular Xbox controller. If you hit the hamburger button and the two boxes button at the same time, it switches to controlling your mouse on your Windows 10 machine through your console.
Okay, similar to those two buttons being the original 360 guide button on when you're playing 360 games on them one.
Yeah. Or like if you hit that button on your PC, it opens up Steam Big Picture. So I like that idea that if you just need to do something on your desktop, like, oh, I just want to open up, like let's say Destiny 2 on your PC, I don't have to make a Steam shortcut to do this, to do that, and like fart around with all this other stuff. Just control the mouse, double click, and you're good to go. So I thought I will mess around with that later on wireless, because of course on the Xbox One you can't switch your Xbox to wireless when you have a cable plugged in, because your Xbox says, we have a cable plugged in, so I'm not going to let you do that. All right, I get it, but come on. So I fired up my Steam Link, because I have one of those powered on and connected to my TV. Well, why don't I use that? Got it all set up, got it synced to my DualShock 4, I have a spare one down there. Worked just fine with a wired or a wireless Xbox controller, or a Steam controller if you're a crazy person. And I got it to work for Steam games on my PC. I still have to mess around with it a little bit, because I think my desktop is running at native 1080p. I think when I'm streaming, it pushes it down to 720p, so everything like looks a little blurrier than it really should be. I'm testing with the thing you test with if you're interested in latency, the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus.
Which monitor is your primary monitor?
On these two here?
Yeah.
My right one.
Check which monitor that the Steam Link is set to display out of.
Yeah.
Because I have a similar issue. This is 1980 by 1060, or whatever it is. This thing is 980 by 720, whatever.
Right. I have two of the same monitor, so
Okay.
then they're both 1080. So
that's what my issue has been in the past. Is it was going through that monitor, so the resolution was
your 720p instead of your 1080. Yeah, and it's all the stuff where it's like, all right, I have it up and running. I just need to start messing around with settings. Like I might need to change the video setting in the game to make sure it forces it. But my main thing was, can I get this fired up, and can the Binding of Isaac run without any latency in it? And I can report, yes, it does. So far,
or at least minimal latency.
There's very, very little. It's you know, when you and I have like that, we played Isaac so much. You know when there's latency. You know when there's something going wrong. It doesn't feel like there's anything like that. So it's really solid. I think at the end of the day, I would really like to get the wireless display app working on my Xbox instead, because Steam Link is really meant for you to mirror your PC's display to your Steam Link. But the mouse support for controllers that aren't Steam controllers, it leaves something to be desired. And I like that the wireless display app on the Xbox One has already figured that out, where it's like you have the two modes, fire up whatever you need to do, and then just do what you need to do. So, because I'd like to play more of that stuff on my Xbox on the couch with my kid, with the family, you know, all this stuff we talked about a couple weeks ago, where someone wrote in and said like, hey, why don't you play more PC games? And when this came up, and I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. Like, this is exactly the solution to that problem, is mirror my Windows 10 PC to my Xbox, and then I just have the Xbox controller. So I'm be messing around with that this week. I hope I can get it to work, because I would like to play some stuff through that and really put it through its paces and see if I can get that running. The only other game I played this week is Destiny 2. Another big content drop this week, since we're still pretty early on in season of the Drifter. Played a bunch more Gambit Prime. I still really like it. I think myself and looking at the community, we're finding out that the one big piece of feedback we have so far is that when you're in the primeval phase, the fight the boss phase at the end, invader spawns happen a little bit too frequently. So you can sort of get stonewalled in, you know, you start making progress on the boss, someone invades, they'll wipe your whole team, all your progress is gone. And then you retaliate against the other team, and it just sort of, it doesn't feel really great. I don't have enough pieces of any of the Gambit Prime gear sets to know how that stuff really works. Tier 3 dropped at the end of, dropped this week. Thankfully, Bungie changed it so you have to be light level 680 to queue for the event, since the event is 680 difficulty. That way, someone like me who's like 670 can't get in there and kind of screw up the run accidentally. Because I still haven't finished enough runs of Tier 2 to upgrade the item I need to get into Tier 3, which is fine, because I'm leveling up a little bit more slowly. They started a new quest chain called Invitations of the Nine. Zur, the weekly vendor, exotic vendor, gives these out once every week. This is really interesting. This week was run a strike and then gather a bunch of materials from enemies in the EDZ. It was Taken, Fallen, and Cabal, which I think are the only ones that show up on the planet. Didn't take a whole lot of time. Once you do that, you do a special really quick mission in the Drifter's ship, and you get 2 really, really cool cutscenes that flesh out a considerable amount of lore in the game between the Drifter and the Nine. And wasn't super long. I got an exotic at the end of it. It was a duplicate. That's fine. But it's really nice to see them. They have said that they are not interested in really doing a lot of cutscene storytelling, and I'm glad that they're not doing like the traditional 4-hour campaign that has cool pre-rendered cutscenes. I like that they're doing this where that they did in Forsaken, they did a little bit in Black Armory, where they're dribbling out story week after week with cool cutscenes, great loot, something that isn't super difficult. I prefer that greatly.
In-game world building rather than just here's a cinematic you can see.
Yeah, and it's every week I can come back and probably get a cinematic or get something storytelling, and they're building up. The thing they did this week is the Allegiance quest launched, where you're pledging your allegiance to either the Drifter or the Vanguard, and it's a permanent choice per character, and it very clearly says this will have long-term effects. So you really need to make the choice that you believe in. I didn't want to go with the Vanguard because I don't like the new character that they unveiled, Honor. I don't like what she's doing. I don't like the cut of her jib. I don't like the Drifter very much. I really don't trust him, but he seemed like a better choice.
Well, is that maybe you don't like him because he's deliberately not meant to be likable? So therefore he's a good character, you just don't like him.
Yeah, that's part of it. I mean, he's very much like your dirtbag uncle, where it's like, he's sort of fun, but like...
Wait, when did you meet my uncle?
It's like, he's fun, but like, he will never watch the kids for us. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he is a really good character. He's a super well-written character. His voice actor is incredible. I have started the Vanguard quest chain on my secondary character, and he starts calling you a snitch throughout. Like, once in a while when you start Gambit Prime, he'll be like, hey, nice to see you again, snitch. It's like, great. That's okay. That's really good. So it'll be interesting to see how this stuff plays out over this season, because it seems like it's very much, here is the story you're picking throughout this season. You know, the Drifter will remember that. It pops up in the right side of the screen. You know, like, it very much seems like that. And even if it doesn't turn out to be anything really great, I'm hoping that this is them creating a test bed for something in the future. Like, the Christmas event was very much them developing it was an oven you bake cookies in. That's the same item that's the synthesizer in Season of the Drifter. So they very clearly took this little event where they can beta test this stuff and then made a focal point out of it in the future. I'm hoping that that's what this is, where this Allegiance quest potentially turns into something bigger, like the factions returning and your choice really mattering, where you align with one faction, period.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. But we'll see. And the other big thing this week is Thorn came back.
Yeah, so you got it.
Yeah, I got it. For anyone, the first question is it as hard to get as it is in Destiny 1? No. Thank God. They did a really great thing. There are 3 short quests at the beginning, and they give you 3 things you can do to make progress on it. It's like, do bounties on a planet, play PvP, or do like Nightfalls, and you'll get progress towards this for doing any of those things. You can do PvE, you can do PvP, it'll all make progress.
Yeah.
Finish those 3, then you get the quest step that was the rough one in Destiny 1 that they fixed in Destiny 2. So in Destiny 1, it was kill enemies with void weapons, void abilities, anything void, and you'll make progress. You die and you lose progress. That second half was the problem. Thankfully, in Destiny 2, you still have that. It's basically a kill with hand cannons, void weapons or abilities. You get faster progress with void hand cannons, even faster progress with void hand cannon headshots, and then super fast progress doing that in competitive or Iron Banner.
Yeah.
That's much better, because I played a run on Twitter, played a couple of competitive matches, did really well, made like 40% progress, decided, okay, that's going to come bite me in a minute anyways, and I'll lose all my competitive points. Let's go to quick play and play a lot of matches and make a little bit of progress.
Yeah.
So did that. The very last step was doing an incredibly challenging strike, mirroring much of the strike in Destiny 1, where you had to kill those wizards when you're avoiding that giant ogre.
Yep.
It's Savathun's strike, Savathun's song strike, the one with that giant shrieker that shoots those purple balls at you. That was really tough. I grouped up with 2 other peeps that were really good, and we had a tough time getting it. But at the end of that, it drops it, and you've got Thorn. So I have played a little bit with it, and I think they managed to figure out a way to make Thorn strong without super overpowering it like it was in the first Destiny. And I don't want to get too inside baseball, but they put an effect on it where if you kill an enemy with it, it still does damage over time and still fires bolts, the normal stuff. It's a fairly solid gun. When you kill an enemy with it, like a green orb floats in the air. If you pick that up, you get 4 bullets back in the magazine, and it powers up your damage over time attack. So instead of doing 2 ticks per, it does, or 2 damage per tick, it does 7 damage per tick. And if you're playing in PvE, that number grows much, much bigger. So it doesn't feel like it's going to ruin Crucible like it did in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
But it still feels really powerful, and it feels good in PvE and PvP. So I think they did right by one of the most infamous guns in Destiny 1, without ruining the game. And I think that seems pretty cool. But I just looked at how long we've been recording. We've been recording for a while, and that's the last thing I played, so let's take a break.
Yep.
Too much Division 2. It's too good.
Yep. Oh, I'm just going to run to the bathroom. Ow, ow, ow.
Okay, I'll chat with chat here. Let's see if I can move Moon's where it says Skype on his screen. Audio and video. Let's see. Calling, maybe? No. Advanced? The problem with Skype is there's so many options for all this stuff that I can never really find where all these options are. Appearance, maybe? Nope. I'll have to find that later. That's a little annoying. Let's look at news stories while we're here. 25 news stories here. Something about Pokemon card game. This week in games, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. Excuse me. Godzilla King of the Monsters trailer. Original Resident Evil 2 director talks about something. Trailer for a game called Towers. I don't know what this is. Exploration, fighting, farm building, some kind of multiplayer. Okay. It seems like that's probably pretty early. Real-life museums make great levels of the Division 2. That's right. Something about Ralph Macchio. Simon. YouTuber discovers strange things hidden in The Simpsons Hit and Run. Okay.
Search for Doom.
That's right. Thank you. Let me look. I bet it's in... I think it's in this box. I won't show it on stream again. We did that last week.
Thank you, wireless headphones.
Yeah, that's right. Moon's rocking some new headphones over there.
No, actually they're old headphones, but...
Oh. Well, new for us.
Yes.
Let me... see if I can find it here.
I had you going through the news and talking about all this other stuff. I was like, come on, Boston, search for Doom. Doom.
Totally forgot. That's not it. That's the Division 1. That's Danganronpa. Wolfenstein. Wolf 2. Getting close. We're in the right genre.
And the right developer or publisher.
A disc copy of Doom 4. Sorry. I guess it'd be Doom 5.
No, it's not, dude.
I don't remember what number that would be. Let's put all this stuff away. And then knock out news stories here. Okay. See you, box. Here it is.
There
Includes the Demon multiplayer pack.
Which, let me tell you, dude, that game has got some serious updates.
That's right, the disc is cool. It has a reversible cover, too. Oh, it's just the old style cover art. No, wrong side.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That image is in the game in Hell Bible.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I could also get this Doom Season Pass with 3 multiplayer DLC packs. I wonder if Doom 2 will have multiplayer, because it did not take off with the first one.
It didn't, but they still support it and it still runs, and I know that because only people who are really bad at the game are still playing it, because I came second.
Oh, nice. Well, maybe you're just that good, Moon.
No. I also got 2 demon power-ups and became a stupid skeleton demon with rocket launchers who fires them from his shoulder while he hovers.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing's called. So I killed a lot of people with that, which is handy.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready to wrap this thing up?
Mm-hmm. I think, production notes here, I think my noise might be coming from my headphones, like my big headphones. Because I have my microphone plugged into the USB 2.0 at the top of the machine, right next to my audio jacks, my headphone in and out.
Yeah, that might be it.
And watching my recording line, it always usually has a little wibble on it.
Right.
Using these headphones, it hasn't.
Interesting. I'll have to listen to your track. That might be it. Interesting. All right, let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about releases for the week of March 18th, 2019. Sekiro? Shadows Die Twice comes out for PC and PS4 and Xbox One.
Thank you, Division, for making sure I don't spend any money for a while. A game I'm very interested in playing, but will wait.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what people really think about this, because people really liked Neo, and people obviously liked Bloodborne. I feel like From Software hasn't really made a bad one of these. I know people say like, yeah, Dark Souls 2 was not great.
Is this the From one, or is this is the other one the From one?
No, this is From Software. I looked this one up specifically because I was like, okay, is this one, or is that the Sony one? And this is the From Software one.
Okay.
So chances are it'll be pretty good. Fingers crossed. Unravel 2 comes out for the Switch, which
good game.
Good place to play it. Did you ever finish that?
Nope.
Okay. The Messenger comes out for PS4. And
meant to be very good.
Yeah, I already know what it does in its second half, and I would like to play that quite a bit.
Me too.
Yeah. And Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon Everybody comes out on the Switch and PS4. I'm assuming that'll come out on Xbox later. It seems like Square Enix has remembered that Xbox exists. So
sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't see a market for a hardcore roguelike, like a turn-based roguelike to succeed on Xbox One. But I also don't see it succeeding on the PS4. So
true.
I'm surprised they're still making these. But these games are really good. And no one believes me, and they won't play them. So, but we'll play it someday for We Roguelike It. Go listen if you
101 games.
Yeah. Let's talk about news stories. Literally, the last thing we talked about last week was, boy, I'm curious what Turtle Rock is going to do.
Yeah.
Well, this week they said, hey, we're going to make Left 4 Dead 3, and we're just going to call it Back 4, the number 4, Blood.
Yeah.
So, great. They have Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, Weeby, publishing it. They are not even winking and nodding. They're very clearly saying, this is a spiritual successor to all the work we did on Left 4 Dead 2 and the DLC. We're just making another one of those. With all the stuff we've learned and with how far games have come since then, let me remind everyone, a decade since Left 4 Dead 2 came out. Taking all that stuff and making Back 4 Blood. They didn't really talk specifically about what that means, but I know they're deep in development. The things they did specify were that it's a premium game. It's not free to play.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have some sort of PvP. I almost feel like that just means like the Left 4 Dead mode where you have 8 people.
4v4.
Yeah, 4v4. And we'll not have a Battle Royale mode, which I guess
that's good.
Isn't surprising, but probably a good thing to come out up front and say this is not a Battle Royale game.
Yeah, 100 zombies jump out of a plane and then die when they hit the floor.
Yeah, like that's not... Every match is a minute.
Mm-hmm.
No release date, but they're targeting PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And they came out and said they're not working on microtransactions right now. They're working on the core development of the game. They are open to doing it after the game launches, but they said they want it to be something the community really wants.
Yeah.
So, all of that is all stuff I would want for a Left 4 Dead sequel. Like, we sort of hitting all the high points.
Yeah, we'll see. That's how I feel about it, is release the game and then we'll see how it is.
Yeah, and I feel like we'll talk about another anticipated sequel here later in news stories, but it's been a decade, and you sort of have to assume... What I'm doing to sort of tamp down the expectations is probably not the same team, Turtle Rock 2009 to Turtle Rock 2019. Especially, I'm assuming there was probably some pretty high turnover during the development of Evolve. So Left 4 Dead 3 sounds really good, but I will want to wait and see what that really turns out to be.
Yeah.
Microsoft is bringing Xbox Live to iOS and Android in the Xbox Live Mobile SDK. So I feel like this is one of those news stories that doesn't really sound like anything until Microsoft very clearly says, we're bringing the Xbox Live platform to mobile devices. So mobile devs will have access to integrate achievements, gamerscore, friends list, clubs, hero stats, and some family settings. So if you want to unlock achievements and use your hero stats over in another game on another platform, you totally can at this point.
They did also show on I think it was the Inside Xbox stream, somebody showing playing Forza Horizon 4 streaming on an Android app, on an Android tablet.
On the Cloud X stuff.
Yeah,
I saw a little bit of that, and that looked good. I mean, it looks as good as a controller strapped to a phone can look on a very tightly controlled presentation, but I think that I feel like Google's Project Stream has made me not pessimistic about technology like this working when it comes from someone this big. Microsoft says they're going to do cloud streaming games. I say that could probably work. You guys probably have the infrastructure and the money to just dump at it until it works. And the interesting thing is, they said that this live coming to mobile devices push was a direct extension of what they have done with Minecraft, where Minecraft should be on every platform, and they're pushing it to be on everything it possibly can. And I think part of that was them realizing, well, if we can do that with this one game, why don't we see what we can do with the platform, like our online platform? I thought that was really great. And along the same time, they also announced that Minecraft is coming to Game Pass. And Moon, you and I, for probably about the last 6 months to a year, have been talking about how you can potentially push and sell a streaming-only Xbox One, and I think they just announced that. Because if you can say, like, yo, here's Minecraft, and it's part of Game Pass along with 100+ other games, then I feel like that's a pretty solid thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I feel like if it can come with Minecraft, it can come with Fortnite, come with these really, really big Apex Legends, these really big mass market games, then I think that can work. You bring Minecraft, you bring the Battle Royales, you're probably doing all right.
Yeah, and it's not talked about as much, but Minecraft is still really big, folks.
Yep. Massively huge. There's a reason why Microsoft bought it.
They just stopped talking about it. That doesn't mean it's suddenly a dead zone.
Still coming out with updates like crazy.
Yeah, they just didn't need to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, they already sold it. Like, everyone already bought it. Speaking of Battle Royale, Battlefield 5, they just dropped a trailer for their Battle Royale mode called Firestorm. That drops on March 25th. The big thing they were talking about is supports solo and squad play. Duo play is going to come in a couple weeks. And 16 teams of 4 players. The trailer didn't have any gameplay of it, but I think it gave you the idea of, yo, it's a really big Battlefield map, and it's a Battle Royale. So you sort of know what you're getting into at this point.
To be honest, Battlefield multiplayer maps were always Battle Royales, except, you just respawned.
Yeah.
That was the biggest difference.
Yeah. I feel like I think most people are going to look at Firestorm and say, well, it's probably too little too late. And it might be, but I feel like the Battlefield fan base is big enough that there might be an interest where they don't want to play Apex Legends or Fortnite because they're already playing Battlefield. And if you can get that fan base, a lot like, what was the Call of Duty Battle Royale called? Blackout?
I think so. I don't know.
I feel like that did really well for Call of Duty because it changed the formula a little bit, and it was inside of Call of Duty, so it's not one of these other... You and your friends are already playing Call of Duty or Battlefield 5, so you're already there. Yeah. Why not check out Firestorm? Hoping that does pretty well because Battlefield 5's reception has not been as warm as Battlefield 1's was.
Rightly so, because they did so many changes that were terrible.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it.
Well, let me tell you all about how they take the spotting ability off every single class except for a sniper. It's a multiplayer shoot-'em-up game. You don't need more reasons for people to be snipers.
Yes. God. How about give it to the medic class? I'd love to have 20 medics on my team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next news story, Netflix is turning Dragon's Dogma into an anime series.
You know what? I would have laughed about this 2 years ago. I watched season 1 of Castlevania. Go right ahead, Netflix.
Just start making whatever you want in anime. And it's nice to know that someone remembers Dragon's Dogma, and I feel like turning it into an anime series will do really well. Because it's just crazy enough, and there's just enough lore in there for it to be interesting.
When you say it's just crazy enough, do you actually mean to say it's just anime enough already?
Yeah, you don't have to adapt a whole bunch. It's just like, all right, just computer generate a lot of this anime, and then hey, just keep the same story.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
They did Twin Snakes. They just turned the cutscenes into more like the actual what they should be.
Yeah, you just turned the anime dial up a little bit.
Like 0.5%, dude. That's how much the anime dial's turned up.
Yeah, it didn't need to be much. Looks like Gearbox is teasing Borderlands 3 for a PAX East reveal. They started out pretty subtly teasing this, and then eventually were just posting Borderlands screenshots at the like a couple days later. So, like we were talking about with Turtle Rock, had they announced this like 5 years ago, I would have been pretty jazzed. But Gearbox has done a lot of stuff between 2 and 3, and I'm assuming it's a significantly different team from like a writing and design and development standpoint. So
yeah,
I think Borderlands 3 has my attention because, it's another Borderlands, and 1, 2, and pre-sequel were all really great. And I like the idea of there being a much larger 1080p, better multiplayer connected, good-looking Borderlands, like the Handsome collection was on PS4 and Xbox One, but new stuff. But they don't have my trust.
Nope.
To put it nicely.
Nope. We will see what they make.
Yeah.
I do not know. I will wait for release and see how I feel.
The only thing I would like them to do is put Randy Pitchford back in the office.
Get him away from any form of promotion. Like,
have the director of the game come out and start selling the game. Like, Gearbox needs another face at the company that isn't Randy Pitchford.
Nope. That isn't a magician.
Right. I mean, they could also be a magician, but as long as they're not Randy Pitchford.
Yes. He takes magic to a whole nother level.
Yeah. He's something. Dwarf Fortress is finally heading to Steam and itch.io. Part of this is really interesting because it's sort of going to be a new version. So Dwarf Fortress right now, I know the long title of it, is going to be called Dwarf Fortress Classic. Will still be a free download on their website. So that's the ASCII and all that stuff is going to be the same. The version that's launching on Steam and itch is going to have tile art, so it's not going to be ASCII art. I'm sure someone will mod that in real quick. Music, sound effects, and Steam Workshop integration. So I feel like Dwarf Fortress is a really hard game to get into, to really put it mildly. I feel like having an officially supported tile set, and it's in Steam, and it has mod support, I feel like that's really the way to get people into it, is go get it on Steam. It's probably going to be super cheap, and it doesn't look like letters and numbers on the screen anymore. You can probably figure it out a little bit easier.
Yeah, hopefully this helps. This helps with it, because I have tried several times to get into Dwarf Fortress.
Me too.
And every single time, I just end up thinking, hey, I'm looking at computer gibberish.
Yeah, I even bought an O'Reilly book on my Kindle, and I said, all right, everyone says this book is really good. I clearly need something to get into Dwarf Fortress. Let's try this out. And I still failed. The book is really good. It was me. It wasn't Dwarf Fortress.
Yes.
Yeah. And lastly, Heart Machine, the company behind the beloved Hyperlight Drifter that both Moon and I really love, have announced their next game, Solar Ash Kingdom. Not a whole lot there. They say they're still really deep in development, but there's a trailer out that looks a lot like another game that company would make. It looks like it's largely in 3D this time, but kind of keeps the same overall style without looking like, here's Hyperlight Drifter 2, which makes me really happy. And I am really happy to see that team making more stuff.
Yeah.
I was worried.
Amazing art style in that group.
Yeah. And I was worried it was going to be like the team that made Minute, where it's like, this is the game we're making, and then we're all just going to go do other stuff. We just, the planets aligned to make this one game, and now we're done. So, which is fine. That's okay. But man, Hyperlight Drifter is a really great game. And to get, it's like us getting Risk of Rain 2, where it's like, I never expected this, and it looks pretty different, but damn, I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully Risk of Rain 2 comes out this year. They're still planning on it, but man, first Risk of Rain is so good. Anyways, We have questions from our dear beloved listeners. T-Bomb Rocks in Discord writes in and says, I was just doing some late night cardio and had a close call with a coyote. That's probably the best opening to a question we've ever had.
Let me add on to that. Hashtag Florida man kills coyote while jogging during nighttime.
Oh, yeah? I hadn't even heard this story.
Neither have I. It's just T-Bomb lives in Florida.
Florida man strikes again.
This is the start of a headline.
Yeah. After sprinting away and catching my breath, it made me think of two questions. Number one, what mascot platformer would you like to get either a remake or a sequel? Mascot platformer.
I know. Dead easy answer for me. Blink's the Time Sweeper. That game was better than people think.
That game was good. Yeah. That and Voodoo Vince were both two games that were good that people looked at and they're like, this is stupid. Like, no, these are good games. Okay. Mascot platformer. I feel like Spyro's come back to a remake degree. Same with Crash. Only other one
Maximo?
I could think of. What's that?
Maximo.
Maximo. That was a pretty good game.
The reimagining of Ghouls and Goblins.
They made two of those, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I liked both of those. The only other one I could think of is, like, for mascot platformer that was anywhere near any good was Gex. But even those games weren't super great.
Is everybody forgetting the forgotten son of not a mascot per se, but the forgotten son of the time period, which is Jack and Daxter?
I feel like Jack 2 and Jack 3 put the final nails in that coffin.
Jack 3 put the nails in that coffin. Jack 2 was solid still.
I really liked Jack 1 a lot. That's probably one of my favorite PS2 platformers. Like that and Ratchet and Clank are probably vying for that spot. I feel like Ratchet and Clank stayed the course, all the way through to its most recent movie spin-off game of a spin-off of the game. But I feel like Jack 1 came out and was really good. Jack 2 came out and did a quick 90-degree turn. It's like, all right, this is significantly different.
When you go emo Jack, that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
He hit puberty and suddenly started listening to heavy metal tracks and worshipping Satan and everything else. And
they put out the Daxter game for PSP. That was okay. That was all right.
Okay, but
yeah, that would be a good one. Jack and Daxter, I feel like you could come back to its roots and maybe potentially make something like an open world platformer. I feel like you could probably do pretty well. That isn't gritty and grim like 2 and 3 were. Because I feel like
we don't need another Grand Theft Jack. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no vehicle combat, none of that. That was bad. And his second question is, what is your favorite endless runner? It's really good questions.
I was going to ask how these questions possibly come up during that scenario. It makes sense. Coyote is kind of like a fluffy animal that would be a mascot.
Yeah.
And an endless runner is appropriate.
Yeah, what T-Mom was doing away from the coyote. I still really like, I think, everybody's first big endless runner, which was Cannibalt. I still really like that one.
Don't know if I've ever played an endless runner that I enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot on, especially on phones, especially like what's it called, Temple Run, where you're running away from the camera.
It's pretty good. There is Despicable Me Minion Rush, which is also available on phones, which I have played.
Right.
And that thing is by Gameloft, so microtransactions out the wazoo.
I wish that the new Super Meat Boy was out, because that's not an endless runner, but it's like an automatic runner. You're controlling Meat Boy as he automatically runs across the screen. I'm excited
Jack and
for
Jill
that.
DX is meant to be pretty great, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of us played Cannibalt and we're sort of like, okay, we got our fix. And like a lot of them are like the Impossible game on phones. That's sort of an endless runner, but not a lot. Really. I'm trying to think of any, like, it was like that jetpack game that
Jetpack Joyride. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, Jetpack Joyride was good. I guess that's an endless runner.
Okay,
that
that's
was
my number one. There you go. That's my best one.
That was a great game. That came to consoles too. Funnily enough.
Don't say that.
I hope it doesn't have achievements for your sake.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
It had achievements on the Windows Phone version, and I got them all.
Oh, yikes. Your dedication to achievements is impressive.
That was like 6 years ago, dude. I still got 2 achievements to get on Despicable Me Minion Rush, and I am not doing that.
Well, yeah, no one has a Windows Phone anymore.
I still do. Thank you very much.
Oh, man. Next set of questions here is from CRADSparky481 in Discord. It says, with the recent release of Anthem and its rocky start, it has 2 questions here. Do you think that has time to turn it around, or is its fate already sealed?
It's all about the EA.
Yeah, I feel like we talked recently about Warframe, where Warframe, people don't remember, Warframe had a really rough launch and a really rough time for a while, and the developers, who I think are the publishers, stuck with it and eventually made it into the fantastic game it is now. But you're right, like, I'm sure if BioWare had their druthers, they would just stick with this game until they got it right. But the real concern is EA.
The biggest question is Apex Legends making them enough money for them to accidentally forget about everything else and just focus on Apex Legends?
I think we'll find out when their first battle pass comes out.
Yeah, I feel needs $10. $10 and you've got 50 million people buying that thing.
$10 and that's the no-brainer price. $15, you're probably losing a lot of people, but that $10 is, if you play Apex Legends and you see that for $10, it's like, yep, okay, I'll pick it up, sure.
I just hope they do the same thing Rocket League does, which Rocket League has a number of levels on the pass now. I'm not an expert on it because I've never bought them. My wife gets them every time, basically. You've got a number of levels on the pass. You get told what reward you're getting as you get to those levels. Like, it shows very clearly what you get.
Yeah, Fortnite does the same thing.
When you hit the level cap in Rocket League and you go over it, every level that you get over that, it increases your drop rate for rarer items and just keeps dropping stuff for you over and over and over again.
That's great. Yeah, do that. That's great. Yeah. And yeah, and I think EA is the real thing here. I would hope if a publisher would get into a publishing agreement with a game like this, like a multiplayer loot shooter, that you would want to look at the long tail of it as opposed to just the launch and people burn through it real quick and then sort of put it down for a little bit of time. Because that sort of happens with all these games. Anthem has gotten a less warm reception than many others in the subgenre.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, you pointed it out while Anthem, before it was released, the Division's like release market and stuff was about 10 times worse than Anthem's. But Anthem was the one getting all the flack for it, not Division.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like when Destiny 1 and Division 1 launched, it was okay for those games to make those mistakes. Because, like, yeah, we're still learning, like, that expectations and building all this stuff. When Destiny 2 and Division 2 both launched, both of those games knew better, and only one of them took advantage of that knowledge. And it's nice to see one of those games come out and just be really good out of the gate. Like, I don't have to say, if you like loot shooters, it's really good. Or if you like the loot grind, it's really good. You know, it's just sort of like, hey, here's a good video game that you can buy.
I haven't even got up to the loot part properly yet, and I'm just enjoying it.
I do have to say, the Division 2 for me did the thing I love to see in loot games, and I wish their like loot drop algorithm guaranteed this in every loot game. And at level 9, I got a purple backpack, and that was my first purple drop, and I had like 1 or 2 other blue ones. But to me, the perfect drop in one of these loot games is you get that one purple item a little bit early, and you wear it way later than you should, because it's my purple and I don't want to get rid of it. And like, oh, these greens are better, but whatever, it's been with me forever. And I wish that every loot game did that, because that feels so good. See, like, that purple shaft of light come up, and you're like, oh, it's a perp. I gotta go get it.
Dude, Wait until you see the golden ones when it's not one of the missions where you need to pick up the stupid golden thing.
Stupid keys. Stupid massive. Yeah, I'm excited for... I got an exotic as part of the gold collection, which was a shotgun that shot stupid far and was one-shotting people up until I got to level 10. So that was pretty good. But now it's sitting in my stash because I got other stuff to do.
Wait for the infusion option.
Yeah, that's why I put it in the stash, because I know there's some infusion and level up, and I don't even understand it, and it will be a while until I do. One of my notes for Division 2 was, there's a lot of bars and numbers and graphs and stuff, and I don't understand any of them, and I love it.
Yeah, we've barely scratched the game so far. I mean, that's what... We don't get access to this stuff early.
Yeah,
you do, because you're a rich fool.
Rich.
Whereas we don't get these 2 weeks in advance. We don't get to go to review events. So yeah, I'm level 8 and he's level 9 or 11 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's fine. You will go through this journey with us. Yep.
And this game is so good. And his last question here is, are you liking the Division 2 and do you think it's better than the first game? I'll let you answer about whether it's better than the first game in a second. Part of how the Division 2 makes me feel is it makes me regret not picking up the Division 1 after 1.8 came out. And that was the big patch where they fixed a bunch of stuff and here's all this new great endgame stuff. I really wish I would have picked it up then, because playing the Division 2, I'm like, oh, I was right. The Division 1 was really good, and I just never picked it up.
Yep. And to answer, is it better than the first one? It has a better start than the first one did. Yeah. The story kind of makes a little bit of sense. They're expecting a lot of knowledge on your behalf of knowing what's going on in New York.
They're throwing out some names, and I'm like, okay.
Yes, they're expecting a lot of that, but the story will fill itself in as you go, I hope. Yeah. And yeah, mechanically it plays kind of the same. It still has the same problems, which is if you don't like putting a clip into somebody before they... Sorry, if you don't like putting a magazine into somebody before they die, then you're still not going to like it.
Well, but if you like... I see so many people complaining. They're like, I had to put 2 clips into this dude, and then they died. And it's like, well, you're level 8, and they're level 12. So, yes, it's still an RPG at the end of the day. Like, you're not doing as much damage to them if they were at the same level as you are. Like, that's just how this goes.
It's a video game. Like, you can only go with realism throughout a certain amount of time. Could you imagine, what was it, Samurai Showdown? Like, could you imagine like a loot-based shoot 'em up where everything is real physics? So it's like, oh, one shot in the head and you're down. How quickly would you die?
Right. Yeah, that was Bushido Blade on the PS1.
That's the one.
Yeah, you cut someone's head off and you win. Like all the rounds, they're dead. Like, that's it. Yeah. The only thing I wish they would have explained a little bit better in Division 2, because I see a lot of people complaining about it, is having trouble understanding the different damage values between guns. Just turn on normalized stats. That's what that is. This gun will now be comparable. This shotgun will be comparable in damage to this assault rifle, and you can tell the difference between the two. So go turn that on. And that's our episode this week. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. All the places to find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon, patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Get all the cool behind-the-scenes, exclusive stuff, the early stuff, ODNF, DST, Outcast, and you help us afford this show, because it is very much not free, and I don't have a paying job, so... thank you for supporting, very directly supporting the show. And we're not one of those ones that's like, oh yeah, we got $100 this month so I can buy like 3 games on sale. Like, no, this pays for hosting and delivering the show to you, very directly. So not like skimming a game off the top or anything. But if you want to give us more money, then maybe I can pay Moon, legally, wink.
That will be the day.
Yeah, that will be the day. We talked about Game Club. Out right now is the Game Club recap for Brothers Tale of Two Sons, and we're going to start the I guess it'll be 5-week cycle maybe, because March is 15 weeks long, for Super Hot. That's about a 2-hour game from everything I've seen, so but you probably have time to play it, and it came out on seemingly everything. And I think that's it, so we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
It's so hot in here.
Stop complaining about the heat, dude. It's still
I know,
cold.
I feel like such a brat complaining about it.
Oh, it's
right
too
now.
warm. My feet have feeling in them.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's the first time I can use my hands in months. It's great. Alright, hit me with those titles.
Oh, okay. A long one, probably vetoed. A depressing introversion on life. It's got a good flow to it.
Yeah, it's a little I really love it, but it's like a tad too long.
Every single dangly thing. 50 minutes, exclamation mark. I know you have one similar to that just after the fact.
Yeah, I have 50 minutes later my butt.
Yep. Claw dozy animation instead of door closing animation.
So what is it?
Claw dozy animation. Because
dozy.
for some reason I couldn't say door closing.
My hand didn't want to write that one because my brain was thinking door and I was writing C and my brain's like, no, stop. Do not.
I picked up kids' socks.
I don't know if I can say that one. I picked up kids' socks.
With all the recent controversy, probably not.
Yeah.
And a good hand feel, because
I wrote that down too. I wrote down really good hand feel. That's what you said. I have different Schluters. I don't want to pass on Schluters. I find it funny and infuriating at the same time. I find looter shooters worse. I prefer loot shooters because I hate stuff that rhymes. I'm weird. I'm weird for a lot of reasons. You hate stuff
that rhymes, but you love a good cadence, as the show titles throughout the past 500 and change episodes can tell you.
I'm a weird dude, man.
You know, rhyming is just a different type of cadence, don't you?
Yeah, cadence for losers. I have He Doesn't Come From the Moon, which I really like.
Okay.
Xbox Plus and PS Gold. 50 minutes later, my butt. DC just stinks. New York in the 70s. Really good hand feel. 50, which is 50 question mark exclamation mark, and Chlor Dozy animation. There's a lot of good Division 2 ones.
Yeah.
50 minutes later, my butt is really good.
I think that, Claw Dozy, and a really good hand feel all take my 3 votes, I think.
I really like really good hand feel.
It probably also helps that I made that reference like 3 times today.
I know, it's really good. I would almost go for really good hand feel.
Yeah, let's go for it.
It doesn't really mean anything, but
no,
you know what it means.
Yeah. Well, we know what it means because I made a different reference, but similar, like related, like twice already.
Right. Okay.
Well, I've got nothing for that. How am I supposed to reference that without making a direct vaping joke? I mean, come on.
Or like saying something creepy, where you'd be like, hand feel. But then that's just like pushing people away from the show.
I got something.
Okay.
I got something.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 595 from March 18th, 2019. Really good hand feel.
Some solid schluting there.
You son of a... All right, thank you so much, everyone, for watching us live. We will be back next week. Bye.